Hello and happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Angela Gennari and this is the Motivation Monday series. So today I wanted to tell you about a series of events that have just been incredible over the past couple of weeks. And it really all started with this magnet right here. And it says, nothing is ever out of reach. So how did this all happen? So I got to tell you this story because it's absolutely still unbelievable to me. So I was going to New York a few weeks ago with my son, which I think you've seen the last video. And we were going to New York City because we had to go to a wedding in Pennsylvania. And so we decided to take a little side trip to New York just for fun. And so I grabbed a magazine to read on the plane. So the magazine that I happened to grab was off of a stack of magazines that I still haven't read. And sadly, it was December 2018, and it was called How to Succeed in 2019. So I thought that was pretty funny to begin with, because here we are in 2020, and I'm reading How to Succeed in 2019. So anyway, we get on the plane, and I thought, you know what? I need to read it because the universe has a funny way of putting things in your way or in your path that you need to see or you need to read just to kind of either as reassurance or to get you to the next place in life or whatever. So I thought there's a reason I picked this one up. So I start reading the magazine, and the very first article was entrepreneurs, the editor doing an interview with the CEO of a major company, a major billion-dollar company. And the CEO admits that he is often making it up as he goes along, and that most CEOs do. And that really hit home for me, because I know in my industry, I'm really trying to do things differently. I'm trying to create new ways of working and new ways of staffing for events. And I'm constantly trying to create this new category that has never existed before. And so there's no precedent, there's no paved, roadway that I can go on that I can just, learn from others. I can learn pieces of things from others, but then I have to figure out how it gets put together like a puzzle. And so there are many, many times where I'm feeling like I'm making this up as I go along, and I get, somewhat insecure about it. So anyway, this was really good to hear, and that, even the CEOs of billion-dollar companies have, those moments of making it up as they go. So then the next article was about Sarah Blakely, who I have a tremendous amount of respect for and admiration. She is just, one of the most admirable women CEOs that I've ever heard of. And then she's also a fellow Atlantan, so she's got that going for her as well. So, but she's, incredible. She seems incredibly down to earth, and I've always admired her. So that was a really good article, also really hit home. And then the next few were all really good articles that I just needed to hear at the moment. And so I decided I was going to go ahead and shoot him an email while we're sitting on the plane. And this is an email that was more about just, I knew he would probably never read this email. I knew it would probably never go to his desk. And all I wanted to do was just say, hey, look, this was a really great article. This was a great magazine. I needed to hear this. This is, my story, and I just got to tell you how much I appreciated it all. So that's all it was. If he did ever read it, I was hoping that maybe it would make him smile, that somebody really appreciated, his work that month, even though it was a year and a half late. But I just wanted to see, I had no expectation that he would ever respond. I just wanted to tell him I appreciated his work. So anyway, I write this article, and then my son and I are in this store in New York City, and I see this magnet, and it says, nothing is ever out of reach. So I've always believed that. I don't really get intimidated by anyone. I don't ever feel like there's nothing I can't do, so I just do it. Like I said, my business philosophy is say yes and figure it out. So I probably put myself into situations I have no business being in, but you just never know. You never know where things are going to go until you try. So anyway, found myself doing that, writing a letter to the editor of Entrepreneur Magazine with no expectation whatsoever that he would ever respond. And then sure enough, a few hours later, I get a response from him. And it says, hey, Angela, I really loved your article or your letter. And I know this isn't what you were expecting, but I think your story would really connect with my audience. I have a podcast called Problem Solvers. What would you think about being interviewed for the podcast? And I was absolutely floored. I could not believe it. This is somebody that, I have so much professional respect for, and he wants to interview me for his magazine that I've been reading for years and years and years and getting so much information from. You know, it's like my MBA class. You know, I get all of my, you know, business teachings from a lot of these magazines and books. And I just thought, wow, what an incredible opportunity. So of course I said yes. I figured I would figure it out on the way because I had never been on a podcast before. I was scared to death. I was super nervous, but if I said no, I would regret it for the rest of my life. So I said yes. And so the next week we did our podcast interview, and it went really, really well. He's super easy to talk to. I was very nervous, but I think ultimately it ended up being okay. So thought that was the end of it. So we had a great talk, and he said he would be putting it out in the next few weeks, and so I'll update you guys on that. And so that was the end. And then later that day, I had gotten a response from the Atlanta Business Chronicle stating that we had been chosen as an honoree for the Pacesetter Award. So I nominated Titan Global Enterprises, my company, a few weeks ago for this Pacesetter Award, which is the top, you know, fastest growing companies in Atlanta. I had no idea if we were even in the ballpark, but I figured, who am I to decide? I'm gonna shoot it out there and see what they say. And if they say that we are, then fantastic. I had no idea. And so getting that email later that day just made it just the most unbelievable day ever. So here I am, you know, starting with just a normal old week, and then I'm getting interviewed by Entrepreneur Magazine, and you know, we are chosen as an honoree for this Pacesetter Award. So just couldn't have gotten any better. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a chance and send out some emails to these venues and these potential clients that have been ignoring me for a few years to see if I get any traction. So sure enough, got a few meetings out of that, and we're finally making some headway with, you know, getting new venues and getting new clients for the company. So I just felt like the week was a huge, huge success. Then Wednesday evening, I get an email from Jason Pfeiffer, the editor of Entrepreneur Magazine, again, and he says, "Hey Angela, I know that this is completely unexpected, but we are finalizing the next issue of our magazine, and there's like a small hole that we need to fill that I think your story would really be perfect for. Would you mind if we put it in the magazine?" And I could not believe it. I mean, it was just the most unbelievable thing that's, you know, happened. I thought the podcast was the best thing, and then I thought, you know, being selected as a Pacesetter was the next best thing, and then all of a sudden I'm getting this article in Entrepreneur Magazine. It just comes out of nowhere, and I was absolutely just completely humbled, excited. I can't even it's beyond anything I could have dreamt of. So anyway, so that happened. We went through the whole fact-checking process, and so that article will be in the next Entrepreneur Magazine. So just couldn't have been a better week, and all of it because of this nothing is ever out of reach. So if you really truly believe that and you put yourself out there, and I challenge you this week to find 2 or 3 things that you've been putting off or that you've been hesitant to do because you feel like you're not ready, do it. Just do it and figure it out, because I can promise you, not doing it is going to create regret, but doing it could lead into more, you know, opportunities. It could open doors for you. You just never know. And even if you don't get it, getting at least a step towards the right direction is going to mean so much. So anyway, I encourage you to take those steps this week to get out there, put yourself in a position of having to say yes and figure it out. You won't regret it. So thank you so much for your time, and hope you have an incredible week. Bye.